Welcome back to the shooting channel, and today we're going to look at the two guns that have been around the longest and are the two biggest rivalry guns. We're going to look at the Beretta Silver Pigeon or 686 and the Browning 525. And those two guns have been around for years and years and years. They've always been up and down. They're always selling about the same amount of guns each. One year one's down, next year one's up. But generally, those two guns are the biggest rivalry guns. We're just going to talk through a few of the details that they both got, and then we're going to go and shoot them and compare the two together. So we'll start with the Beretta. They've got the new Beretta recoil pad on them. They've got gold trigger. Safety catches are selective. Got the traditional Italian style action, slightly lower in the profile action. Multi-choke. This particular one is a game gun, but they do it in a sporter and a game. The stocks are a fraction lower on Italian guns, on the Berettas. If you close them, when you hear the close, they close a little bit more delicately than what Browning do. But generally, that is the features of a Beretta Silver Pigeon. The Browning 525, again, they've got the Browning recoil system. Selective safety catch, same as the Beretta. But if you look at the way the safety catches is built on the Browning, it's a little bit more squarer. The way the safety catches are built on the Beretta, a little bit more rounded. Deeper in the action, which a lot of people do say that the Browning recoils less because it's got deeper in the it's a deeper action there. Again, that's a personal preference thing. They have ventilated barrels. This is a sporter. They do it in a game gun as well. Multi-choke. They have a movable trigger on the Browning. On the Beretta, again, on the sporter, it's a movable. On the game gun, it isn't. Whereas on the Browning, it's movable on both. They're both about £7.5, but the feel of the Browning is a little bit more chunkier than a Beretta, generally. A little bit more squarer in the whole action. Whereas if you look at the Beretta, it's very much, everything's more rounded off. So again, the action's a bit more rounded. Everything's got rounded, whereas the Browning is very square. If I take them apart, if you look at the two actions, the Beretta is very much rounded, the Browning is very much square. If I look at it like that, you can see the action is deeper on the Browning than it is on the Beretta. And again, if I look at it like that, you can see the safety catches are a little bit more rounded on the Beretta than on the Browning. Recoil pads, again, very similar. Obviously, the Beretta's a little bit more thicker, but I would say they're both as good as each other on the recoil side of things. The only thing that makes some people will say that the Beretta recoils a little bit more than the Browning is because of the lower profile action. But again, I don't really noticed that difference that really. One of the quite big differences are the top levers. So on the Beretta, you have a little piece, a little button there that you push and it comes back. So if you hold it, it stays out there. Whereas on the Browning, it is in the bottom there. So it's just a different way of doing the mechanism. So again, if I push that down, it comes back. If I do that. So if you look at the whole hinge and the way the guns are put together, they're built slightly differently. Whether one's better, one's not, that's a personal preference to whoever shoots the guns. But if you look at, again, the way the ejectors and everything work, they're built in a completely different way, whereas that is very spring-loaded, whereas the Browning generally isn't spring-loaded. So again, comment below if somebody believes the way the Browning is built is better or the way the Beretta is built is better. Comment below Would love to hear your view on it. In my eyes, they're both good. They're both different, but they're both very good guns. The way they're built is just different. The way the Beretta is built generally follows to Italian guns. The way the Browning is built comes from Marucca, the way Maruccas are built. Most of the other new gun manufacturers, I would say, copy or use the ideas that have come from one of these brands. The only thing that I would say is the way the Browning is built, that style of action has been around a very, very long. John Moses Browning designed it, and I would say a lot of people do say that that is very much, it's built to last, and they will not fall apart the way that action is built. And it has been proven right the way back from what John Moses Browning, and he started the B25, he proved that it is literally indestructible the way the Browning is built. And the reason why is because, as you've just shown on the ejectors, there's a lot more complications going into the way the Italian style guns are built, like the Beretta's built. Brownings, there's not a lot to go wrong on them. So you can make your mind up, whichever one you feel is better, you can make your mind up whichever one. Now we're going to shoot the two guns with my Fiocchi cartridges, and we're just going to talk about the differences between the two guns. So I'm going to start with a 28 gram Fiocchi fiberwood cartridge. It's a little bit more thumpier, and put them through both. Then I'm going to use the Lightspeed 26 gram. Pull. 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 So that's 5 pairs with the Browning. Now I'm going to do 5 pairs with the Beretta. Pull. 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 The only thing that aggravates me with the Beretta is the top lever does come across there, and that's really Italian guns. The Browning cannot. So the top lever does come across there on its own. And sometimes it makes it hard. I mean, all you've got to do, it's not hard, it's not a problem. All you've got to do is push it back. But it's just something different that happens. Pull. 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 So that is the Beretta Silver Pigeon. I'm just going to show you what I mean by the top lever on the Browning. So if I shoot a pair with the Browning, pull. So again, you can't, the Browning will not come back. And it's to do with the way that it's built, that mechanism that it's built. And that's the difference between them. But I'm going to say between the two of them, recoil wise, I don't personally feel a difference. I'm going to say the Browning is a little bit more big. Apart from the comb height, I cannot fault any of them. This one's quite a lot more low in the comb, but then we've always said it, Browning is higher. But apart from that, I can't really fault. Those differences, whether they're right or wrong, those differences are there. I'm just going to go and now shoot a couple of pairs on a different stand, see if I can pick any more holes. Ball. 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 I'm going to say for me personally, I do like the handling of the Browning because it's that little bit heavier and it just makes me control the gun slightly better. That's my only opinion with the two so far. Pull. 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 So that is my comparison between the Browning 525 and the Beretta Silver Pigeon 686. I can't really fault both of them. My personal opinion, I like the handling and the weight of the Browning, but again, if you're looking at one of these guns, don't forget, buy your gun from a shooting school, go out and try them with an instructor to see what fits you correctly. They're both decent guns, but see what fits you correctly. If you've got a Browning, if you've got a Beretta, if you're a Browning shooter, if you're a Beretta shooter, please comment below and comment with any thoughts or anything you may want to find out, and we'll do our utmost to find out about them and come back to you. I hope you like this film. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.